Yeah. Let's go flying. Let's go flying. So here we are. Apparently we're receiving in the front seat, and what will are those your cats or your gang? They got a gang, Miss Co-Pilot. They got a gang. You'll hear. Goodbye, music. What else do I want? I probably want this. Yeah, the computer needs a restart. It's starting to lose where all of these thingies are positioned. So, I'm going to bring the sound up on this a little bit. Let me know what the sounds are like. I don't know if you'll be able to hear me running through this checklist, but like I said, no one really wants to see me taxiing. Maybe you do. I did taxi like a boss. Anyway, let me know if you can hear the checklist and stuff like that. So we'll just go from there. Oh, it's really quiet. Yeah, it's really, really quiet. So, we got the cam thingy. We got the cam thingy. Hey, Alpha 011. I can tell it's your name just because I can see the 011. So, I put the little cam thingy on my head. So, like I said before, unfortunately the audio just completely got fucked up. So all we're going to hear is some aeroplane noise and a whole heap of flying. So, here I am actually using a checklist. See, I actually use checklists in real aircraft. I do practice what I preach. I do practice what I preach. Just while, yeah. So real life track I looks so real. X-Plane 11 confirmed. So this is how you start an injected aircraft, by the way. Mixture. Hit the fuel pump. Count 1, 2, 3. Mags are off, and then watch this baller of a start. And also, this is the first time I've ever flown this aircraft, okay? So, there are some noob errors, but first time I've ever flown this aircraft, all of these other things. Oh, look at that. Even calls out clear prop like a boss. Starts it like a boss, no big deal. I mean, it literally is your job to fucking start the aeroplane, but anyway. Also, let's just, do we want to see the run-ups and stuff like that? It's, yeah, so we put, just really fucking annoyed that the microphone didn't work. Callum wants to know if I'm a real pilot. Well, this is me in this aeroplane as of about 6 hours ago, so I probably want to say yes, but cannot confirm. But yes, this is me sitting in this aircraft. Those are indeed my car keys. That is in. They're the pants. People apparently don't understand car keys. Makes like a sound like car keys, like things for your car, but no, they're two different things. So yeah, I guess I'm a pretend real pilot. Where are we? Let's talk about where are we. So what? I yelled out clear prop. I'll even fucking go. I called out clear prop. Who? What? Oh, there it is. There it is. I'm even going to turn this up, so you have to listen to it. Are you fucking ready? This is going to be loud. Are you ready? There you go. You can hear shit.
Starter engage, release after engine fires. So, okay. Clear prop. Ready to go. Clear prop. Clear prop. That was at 1,000 RPM. Yep, you bet. Avionics are on.
You were saying, what you got next? Come at me. What you got next? What you got next? Hit me with your airmanship bullshit. I've got it. I got this. I even smack the dude. I smack the dude in the chest because in his beltage area because I just whispered that into the wind. Whispered that into the wind, eh? Alright, alright. Nope, there's an instructor in the back. Wait till you watch his taxi technique. Sticks, go fuck it! Well, it didn't go anywhere, I just held it full aft. But, checklist usage, no big deal. And I even call, when I call out here, cleared left, center, right. I don't know if you'll hear it over the sound of the engine, but maybe you will. Why can't I keep seeing voice meter banana or whatever the fuck it is?
I have to say the field is only somewhat paved. It's not like an off field,
You hear me say it?
It's a left centre.
Yes, there it is. There we go. There's clear left, center, right. Airmanship. Airmanship. Even though we're at a crappy little Class G airport. There's some solid ground airmanship there. No big deal. Look at this taxi line as well. I even yell at myself. I'm like, oh, it'd be nice if I actually taxi along center line. I probably even use that voice, but whatever. No big deal. It's okay. It's okay.
How much utilisation do you get out of this thing? Does it fly much, or does it?
You can actually hear a little bit. It's Australian. So look, we'll just save the taxi here. This is look, out comes the checklist again.
Oil pressure's in the green. Oil temp still just a little out of the green.
So yeah, we're just running through the engine run-ups here. So this is at Rockcliffe. Rockcliffe is just on the outskirts of Ottawa. It's just on the outskirts of Ottawa, and you can see most of the aircraft actually just live outside here, even in the winter. There's just one hangar. The reason they're not allowed to build anything else is because it's actually a heritage listed site. So, probably. Whatever. So on the right-hand side over there is the Canadian Air and Space Museum. So it's on the far side of the... I should hold the joystick and make it look like I'm flying the thing, right? But yeah, that's the Canadian Air and Space Museum. I'll probably do a video. I might even be able to do it live from over there, and we'll see. But yeah, we should be going over there at some point. Anyway, the field length is about 2,400 feet, so it's quite a short field, and it's even actually shorter. When we actually come back in and land, you'll see why it's shorter. Is there's a displaced threshold on either end of the runway, so you actually only get about 1,800 feet of landing roll, just because there's fucking houses and shit on even there. Ain't Sophia, but it okay. The takeoff procedure here is that there's even stop signs there. How nice, how Canadian. The little stop sign there letting you know that there's a runway ahead. But yeah, what else? What else is there to say? Beautiful, beautiful morning in Ottawa, right? What else? What else? What else? We're just running through some checklist bullshit here. We'll just go ahead and skip ahead. There's some dude landing, and oh my god, yeah. I saw the funniest shit ever today. I'll get back to that later. See, there's a little Canadian sign, stop. And also in French, because they're bilingual here. Here's some more sweet airmanship coming up. Coming right at you, Miss Co-Pilot. Look at this. Look at this sweet airmanship here. A little bit of an angle there so I can see through the final to actually identify the aircraft on final. I mean, I don't know what more you want from me. What more do you want me to actually show you? There we go. There's a little guy landing, little 172. How fantastic is that? Cheeky. We'll skip ahead. No one wants to see 172 landing, blah, 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 entering the runway and making all of our appropriate calls. And there we go, we're backtracking. So we backtrack for full length, and that's not a real dog on the side of the road. It's just on the side of the runway there. That's just for scaring off the birds and shit. I handle the takeoff. I do everything that you see here. You're getting 2 frames a second. Is it looking okay for you? Is it still jerky, guys?
Ready to go? Okay, heels are on the floor.
I'll just pause it here. How bad is the jerkiness for you guys? Is it like really fucked or like just semi-fucked? It's all it was crappy. Is it still crappy? I've just paused it here, so It's literally just paused. It's choppy. Ah. It's only semi-fucked. Okay. Are you sure, Miss Copilot? Are you watching a different video? Because I've been pretty jerky already. Okay. All right. Let's watch a takeoff. Let's watch a takeoff. It's not bad. Okay. All right. Well, if it gets any worse, 7 seconds in. Just play it so I go, no, all right, it's okay. Well, wait till the takeoff is a little bit poor. We kind of lose a little bit of directional control there a little bit. You kind of see the nose sort of wander around across the runway just at liftoff. So yeah, a little bit crappy. But anyway, here we go. I've just made the call. Heels are on the floor. I verbalize in the real aircraft. So I just made the call. Heels are on the floor, and we're slowly advancing power. So takeoff time. And we'll go ahead and hold stick full aft here. So stick is all the way back in my chest, and slowly adding power. We keep bringing power up, 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 all nice and slow, making everything nice and steady. You can see we've got pretty good directional control here, but then just as the aircraft starts getting light, you'll see the nose just kind of wanders over to the right there a little bit, and we just struggled a little bit with directional control. It wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad, but just something to point out. And this is what I mean. So the departure here is actually over water. So basically, as soon as you make 300 feet, you actually have to make a a left-hand turn. There's all these fancy pants houses over there to the left. Anyway, it's a constant speed prop, so we took off at full power, and then we brought it back straight away to 2,500 RPM. So fuck off. Can confirm Rush has 0.5 hours in an aircraft. So yeah, take off, and now we're noise abatement. It's just they're all fancy pants houses over there. So anyway, so where I used to work, we're actually just going to see a little bit ahead here. So just off to the nose and to the left, that is Gatineau Airport. What you can see directly below the nose there is actually a poo plant. That's where they, that's literally barrels of shit down there for, yep, poo plant. But anyway, where I used to work is not the poo plant, it's the airport just over there called Gatineau Airport. And where we actually operate and do our aerobatics is just to the north of Gatineau Airport. In a box up to 4, I think we had 4.5 down to 3.5, and we just did some arrows in there. So right now we are talking to a few different controllers, so we actually get clearance, because we're actually operating within Ottawa airspace, we need to get 2 clearances. Gatineau Airport's actually towered, we fly through their airspace, and we're in actually Ottawa's airspace there. So on the way up we were cleared, then we kind of got yelled at a little bit. We got yelled at a little bit. Not yelled at, there was a whole heap of arrivals. And a DC-3, you're landing in Ottawa for some fucking reason. Also, just when you think my hair can't get into a video even when the camera is pointing away from it, you would be wrong. That is indeed my hair in the left-hand side of the screen. So I'm glad you guys could... Obviously my hair was flapping in the breeze. There was quite a good amount of ventilation in the front of the aircraft, so that was quite good. Yeah, there's Gatineau just down there to the left. We're past the poo plant, and yeah, good little airport. So that's where the 737 simulator is based. Is just down in there in one of those hangars down there. The cloud textures. Yeah, so basically, where are we at right now? We're at 2.5, and we climb up to, I think, 3, so I can probably even skip ahead a little bit here, because this is just a boring-ass climb, but it is a pretty picture, I guess. It is a pretty picture. Right now, I'm trying to get a feel for the aircraft. We're meant to be climbing out at 85 mile an hour here. I was a little bit poor on the climb out. We're climbing at 100 there for a while, and then eventually I get used to the control loads and stuff like that. And the aircraft, the control loads on it are really they're really light, and you could actually fly the plane out of trim really, really easily. Really, really, really stupidly easily. Which is not very good for teaching you how to trim an aircraft. Them jokes poor on climax. I mean, I've never heard anyone say that before. And that's the end of the video. So I hope you guys enjoy. No, I'm kidding. There's 3 other videos. Okay, that's the camera. Where? Ugh. I'm probably before we start playing games, I'm going to need to restart the computer because it's just lost the positioning of where all. That is my passport. Okay, YouTube's. Now, what video would it be? Let's go ahead and try and find some details. So this was today. That doesn't tell me anything. That doesn't tell me anything either. Oh, yeah, it does. So that was 108. Let's see. 108, that was 126. And this one here, 131. Okay, so this is going to be the next video. So as you can see, I literally have only just pulled these off the camera. I've literally only just pulled these off the camera. So I know production value. Okay, so yeah, here we are. We're going to be climbing away. I don't know if you guys want to. Fuck you, you can watch it. So this is now, we're on the Quebec side, so we technically should be speaking in French. There's another hair shot for you, just in case you were wondering. And we actually got out earlier in the day, so it was really quite nice. The weather wasn't too bumpy or anything like that. It was a nice, cool morning, and away we go. Also, take note, the G meter. So that is not how cool I am, but the meter is directly in the middle of the 6-pack. So the regular 6-pack, you'd expect an artificial horizon there. What's actually there is a G meter, and it's been reset, so you can see how many Gs we pull, how many G units we pull. Obviously, I should just stop. Anyway, how many G? There's Gatineau. So we use Gatineau. We actually operate, like I was saying, just to the north. So we are just to the north of it, and Gatineau kind of runs east-west. So we run lines up and down the coast there, up and down the coast there, up and down, using these roads here as our sort of reference points. Yeah, so we use those as our reference points. Don't worry, the good shit's about to start, and it's pretty much non-stop fun action the whole time. So it's do le barrel roll, exactly. Also, we like drinking wine while flying. I believe initially we climbed to 4. Actually, they told me to level off at 3.5, and obviously my height holding is pretty pathetic there because we're at 3,750. We'll just ignore that. No, we're obviously climbing to 4. I'm just going to say that. Yep, nose attitude still high, speed still low. So we're climbing to 4. And we've got some sweet hair action now. It's really starting to encroach on the camera here. Approved in normal category, whatever. I'm just having a read of the details there. You can actually hear my voice here. That's just going to be too poor. To hear over the top of the engine, that's just going to be a little bit too shitty. So there we go. We're at 4. We're going to pick up some speed, and basically what we do is, for here on, we want to warm up for some aeros, yeah? Oh, it's so fucking exciting. We want to warm up for some aeros. So typically the way to warm up is to just start off with some 2G maneuvers, which is 60-degree angular bank, level attitude, and just bring the aircraft around to the left, around to the right, just to get a feel for the aircraft. The first few I do are not really, a guy tells me they're not really aerobatic, because apparently everything you do aerobatic has to be done fast and concise. And I don't know. I don't know. I'll think about that some other time. But yeah, they always do end in a capture card hype. I know. So yeah, we're running off the capture card. So here's some 60-degree angles of bank to just get us cranking around, to have a feel for the aircraft. You see, that wasn't a real 60-degree angle of bank, because if you look down at the G meter, I only pull 1.5. What a girl doesn't even pull G. But at this stage, what I'm trying to get a feel for is the rudder inputs. And I probably spent a little bit too much time looking down at the instruments here. And by probably, I mean I fucking did. I spent far too long looking at the ball. The interesting thing with this aircraft is that it's really, typically you could, typically when you're flying in any aircraft, not any, but most aircraft, you can tell when you're flying out of coordination because you're not usually right on the center of gravity or on the center of pressure, right over the main wing spar. But where I was sitting, from where I am, is I am right over that center of pressure point. So when the tail was even just a little bit out of being uncoordinated, I couldn't tell. I couldn't tell because, one, I don't have the experience in the aircraft, but two, this is the instructor demonstrating what a real 60-degree angle of bank should be. So if you can compare the two, he enters very, very quickly, right? He puts in a lot of stick deflection really, really quickly, pulls G almost straight away, and he tells me go ahead and do that. I still don't get a fast enough stick deflection over, but obviously still clearing our turns here. But we do a bit of chit-chat here trying to figure things out. So we still don't pull enough into the turn here, but we go ahead. It's a good warm-up. Anyway, like I was saying, it's quite hard being in the front seat of this aircraft to get any kind of reference visually or seat of your pants as to whether the tail of the aircraft is coordinated. So what I was trying to get a feel for is rudder pressure and stuff like that. So it took me a little bit to get a feel for the aircraft. This is not the best way to get a feel for an aircraft. Coincidentally, doing aerobatics in it, they are not that great. So I think the first maneuver we do is a roll. We go ahead and do some, I'm going to call it the barrel rolls because they're lobbed. Aileron rolls are just throw the aileron in. But we go ahead and we do some, you could call them lobbed rolls if you really wanted to be super duper technical. So we do some lobbed rolls. And what that means is we pick up airspeed, we pitch up to about 20 degrees, and then we go ahead and we add full stick deflection. Now when we add full stick deflection, we kind of unload over the top just a little bit. Now it's not maybe the proper way. Some aircraft you do it differently where you keep the aircraft loaded the whole way through. The rolls that we were doing here were a little bit, not negative, but they were somewhere between 1 and 0.5 G. Okay, no, we don't do that first. Okay, so what we do next here, this was quite interesting, is what we do here is some rudder skills. So what happens here is the instructor says, okay, bring the power all the way back to idle, and we're going to keep the aircraft in a sustained stall. So we're going to keep the aircraft in a stalled condition. He's going to have the stick, and my whole job was to keep the wings level with rudder. So you'll see there's a few times there where the aircraft will, it was really quite interesting, where the aircraft will tip over. And what it feels like at the stall is, in this aircraft, is once you go past about sort of 25 degrees of wing bank, the aircraft wants to keep going. It just wants to keep on going, and even full rudder deflection, the aircraft doesn't react straight away. It takes time for the aircraft. So you'll see here, with a power off idle, a power off stall, with just rudder control to keep the aircraft straight, it's not too bad. When he starts adding power, we do a nose up attitude sustained stall. The rudder inputs there, and if you could see my feet, they're like fucking kicking like anything. So here are some rudder skills, and you'll really see what I mean, is that as the aircraft gets slow, the wing really wants to go. So we just keep it in a sustained stall here, and my job here is just to use my feet to keep the aircraft nice and straight. You see the first one? There we go. There goes the wing. I'm still able to pick it up with the left rudder. But you can see the aircraft really is unstable. The nose, you can actually see the airframe buffeting through the nose. You'll see the nose traverse the horizon left and right. That was full right rudder deflection there to stop that wing coming over. But lots and lots of control input here. I can't tell if this is the power on. No. Yeah, the left wing almost went again, but we still caught it with full right rudder. So you can see it's very, very interesting to see how much rudder was required and then how long it took the aircraft to actually respond. And now we do it power on. So there's a little bit of air now going over the actual rudder. And because of that, the rudder is a little bit more effective, but also there's more torque effect where the aircraft now wants to roll one way or the other. Yeah, I'm even talking. Why I'm waving my hand around there is talking to the instructor, saying even when the wing angle sort of gets past 20, it just wants to keep rolling. It just wants to keep rolling and go away. No, so no shoots, no shoots. I talked to the instructor about that a little bit, and he was saying that there's no real need for shoots in this aircraft because it's so hard to get into. It's so hard to get into anything where you really can't get out of. This is a very, very docile aircraft, so no shoots in this thing. And I mean, at 4,500 feet, I really, if you got into a spin, whoever's in the back seat is not getting out. And even if you're in the front seat in the 5-point harness, at 4,500 feet, I don't think you're going to get out and pull a shoot in time. I think you're just going to fucking pancake. But yeah, anyway, so we're at 4,000 feet here. So what we should see here is we push the nose down, we push it down the hill. We'll get to about 130 mile an hour, lift the nose up for 20 degrees, and then go ahead and add full stick. And we should see some sweet, sweet rolls. So these are the first real aerobatic maneuvers. You can see we've got sufficient hair in the way as well. Heck, Will, this is the brand new X-Plane 11 Decathlon. No, here we go. First roll. It's just as fun watching it as it was in real life. How much altitude? You could see, actually, as I got more and more familiar with the aircraft, the altitude loss started to come away. So there I lost 200 feet. By the time I end, I think I end up losing maybe 50 feet or so. And I think... So we go around to the right, and I think we do another one around to the left. We're just having a bit of a chat here, where the instructor was saying he likes a little bit of forward stick through the roll, just to keep the aircraft unloaded. The way I was taught in the Warbirds is to keep it actually loaded a little bit, so all the way, so it's kind of like a barrel roll, so no matter what point of the roll you're in, you're always staying at positive G. This thing here has inverted fuel, inverted oil. Here we go, another roll coming up here. I believe this is the instructor demonstrating. Yeah. Yeah, you can see he has the more distinct control inputs. I think it's the next one I actually get pretty right. Yeah, and so we do some more rolls, and then from there I need to remember what the hell we do. I think we draw squares in the sky or something like that, or... Yeah, I'm trying to remember now. I don't know, because everything just happens, like boom, 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 boom. But you can see we're using roads here. We're using these roads as sort of reference points as to where our nose... Here we go, nose is coming down. I think this one's going to be around to the right. Yeah, I think it's around to the right. Now, with this thing around to the right, they like having the nose up to about 30. No, it's around to the left. That one was nice. The nose actually finished where I wanted it to finish. You'll see height loss there was about 80 feet. So that was a nice roll. That was a nice roll, if I don't say so myself. Maybe the next one we do around to the right. But due to torque, we just pitch up to about 30 degrees, so a little bit more on the way up. And yeah, mousetrap. Yeah, it's a pretty cramped cabin. Oh, it's actually not too bad. I mean, there's room around your arms. I mean, yeah, there's enough room there. I mean, you're not going to have a fucking party, but I mean... Yeah. Yeah, getting into it's not really... There's nothing glamorous about getting into this aircraft. Like, how the fuck do you get in? Is this to the right? I don't know. We'll find out. There we go. That one was ugly. You can see the nose finished about sort of 30 degrees off center there. So that was an ugly roll. But we fixed that because when the aircraft goes negative, you don't need as much rudder pressure. And again, being out of stick and rudder skills, as I was coming through the roll there is... It needs a little bit more right rudder because of the torque effect of the prop when you're coming over the top, but I just fucking pushed that rudder pedal all the way into the floor. Just a little bit too much. You see that one was a little bit better. There was about 10 degrees of the nose off to the left, but you get the idea. Is when the aircraft is unloaded, you don't need as much control input. When the aircraft's unloaded, we're not worried about adverse yaw from the aileron input. We're not worried about anything else. All we're trying to do is tame the torque effect or the prop wash from the propeller. So I guess we do a couple more of these little guys. And that was a little bit better. The nose was still a little bit to the wrong side. You can see the altitude. The first roll we did, we lost 200 odd feet. That one there again, we lost 80 feet. So we're actually starting to get a feel for the aircraft and how it handles through these maneuvers, which is kind of nice. That you just need time in a plane, and you just need time. Was it windy? No, it was actually nice. There was a little bit of wind on the way back in, but while we're actually flying out there, it was really nice. There weren't many bumps. It was a pretty still day, but this was at 11 a.m. today, so the wind was nice and stable. The ground hadn't started heating yet. So yeah, here was some more rudder skills. So this was the instructor demonstrating what's called drawing a square in the sky, just using your rudders. So the idea being is you draw a box pattern in the sky, keeping your wings level with stick and just using your rudder pedals and pitch. So the idea being here is, let me just pause it, is epic pen time. Why can't I have my pen? Okay, I might need to just reload Epic Pen here. There we go. So the idea being is you pick, you want to draw a square in the sky with your nose. Maybe not quite that high, but like this. The idea of keeping these lines nice and square. Now, obviously, as you add, you can go around either way. You can go around to the left or you can go around to the right. We did it both ways. What this is doing is just teaching you uncoordinated flight, where you will have a rudder input and your stick is going the opposite direction. So let's say I was going this way, I would be adding left rudder, and the whole point is to try and keep the wings level with the horizon, yeah? So here is our super duper horizon across the bottom there, is we want to keep our wings level with the horizon. So to do that, we trace this area through the sky, and it's going to give us different air speeds as well, right? With the nose down, speed's increasing, so the rudder pressure should initially be quite high to get the nose over. But anyway, so this the thing here is to teach you rudder pedals, stick deflection can be opposite. So you kind of feel like you're kicking in with a mixing bowl, you know, like patting your head and rubbing your belly, that kind of thing, but with your feet. And so he just the instructor, Chris at Rockcliffe, just demonstrated. I'd never heard of this. He's just like, oh, this is just something that I've done to just make this box pattern in the sky to teach these stick deflections and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and watch my attempt. We go around to the left and around to the right. Now, I think I pick a position out here somewhere and over here somewhere, and we try and trace this box in the sky with the nose. So just take notice of where the nose goes and how we keep the wings level. So here we're tracking over to the right and nose down, keeping the wing level. And we go to the left, keeping wings level with stick. You can see the nose kind of dropped a little bit there, but you get the idea. And then the nose comes up. And now we have to turn around. I think. I don't know. I don't know. I was just talking about it. So it's an interesting thing to teach stick and rudder deflections in opposite senses. I guess it's to teach you. You'd really need to go up and spend some hours doing that to teach it into muscle memory. Doing it once or twice like this really is just demonstrating the maneuver and telling you to, hey, go out and practice it yourself. Here I'm picking my point. I think my point was out there and out here somewhere. Oh, I know what's going on here. Hang on a sec, guys. Okay. I could see it's starting to get a bit of a yellow tint there because I had flux installed. Sorry about that. There we go. So you can see the nose tracing to the right there. Up it comes. Over to the left it goes, keeping these wings nice and level. So the stick is traversing, the rudder pedals are traversing, and you're just doing all these sort of uncoordinated things where the stick isn't moving in the direction the rudder pedals are, and quite an interesting, fun maneuver. Never done it before, so... yeah, so my rudder pedals are currently stuck in customs because MFG, whoever they used to transport it, didn't fill out the customs form correctly. So I got an email from Canada Customs saying, hey, what's this shit that's got your name on it? And I'm like, fucked if I know. Well, I know it's rudder pedals, but I can't do anything about it. The sender has to deal with it. So I had to send them off an email saying, can you fucking fix this, please? Because, like, my pedals are stuck. Is this our first vertical? I think it is. There you go, first vertical. I think, is it my first or second vertical I completely fuck up? You'll see what I mean. We just get over the top and we're just far too much rudder over the top. Yeah. Perfect. Looks like the video is just ending after that vertical. That was the instructor demonstrating one. And yeah, that was the instructor demonstrating one. Yeah, I can't remember if it's the first one I do that I just completely fuck up, or if it's the second one. But yeah, so we sneak in some verticals as well. The verticals are where we pull the most G. Through those rolls and stuff like that, we're only pulling 2, maybe 3 G. In the vertical there, we pulled 3 on the pull out, but yeah. So I think this is my first vertical. The second, I don't know if it's the first or the second vertical I fuck up. You'll see what happens. We get over the top and the nose just starts skewing. So we just kind of start corkscrewing over the top, and not pretty, but we deal with it. Yeah, we'll find out what one. I think I'll do 2 verticals. Didn't pull G aggressive enough to start this one off. Yeah. You can see nose started to go off. It was really fucking ugly. We needed to be pointing the other direction. This was the one I completely fucked up. Yep, so that was one fucked up vertical. So let's go back and actually watch why. Let's watch why it actually fucked up here. So obviously through the vertical, as airspeed decreases, we need to start adding more rudder to counteract the prop. That's why we're pulling G. But over the top of the loop, we're not pulling G, and I still had a boot full of rudder in. So blame the flight model. Carinado, your flight model shit. So over the top of the loop, we're not quite negative G, but the aircraft's unloaded. I still had a boot full of rudder. So really, what I should have been doing with the what I really should have been doing through the maneuver is adding rudder as I start pulling G. As the G starts to come off, start reducing that rudder pressure just a little bit, and then as the G starts as we start coming back down the hill, start feeding that rudder back in. So the rudder pedal should be doing this and then coming back to here. Well, I didn't do that. I just went and just held full rudder. And you'll see what I mean here. It just gets really ugly over the top. You can actually kind of just see, if you look through the top part of the window there, is just far too much rudder. And what I really should have done is, it doesn't matter what I should have done. It's just something that we can learn from this. I'll see if I can catch the moment that... So here we are. It's about now we actually started unloading the stick a little bit before this. And by that I mean, instead of pulling all the G over the top of the loop, it's just starting to unload. Apparently, just give me a sec, guys. Okay, I'm going to need to do that now. Timeout! I need to figure out a better way of doing this. There's not a quick way on this BenQ monitor. There's not a quick way of changing inputs. You have to go through 3 fucking menus to change the input, so I can see the other screen. Like most screens, it's just like a fucking button. You press, oh, there's the... Oh no, now I'm going to hear some feedback. But yeah, so most monitors, you just press a button and, okay, we just change source. Not the BenQ, you got to go through 50 fucking... unless there's any other buttons, I can't see any. It's really stupid. Okay, we are just going to configure this puppy here. We're zoomed out, autofocus. I'm going to turn that off. Advanced settings. Let's add some exposure. Oh, there we go. What happens if I add gain? Is that okay? It's probably a little too bright. I think that's okay, yeah? You can actually see me, I'm not hidden now. Alright, now we'll go back through our BenQ fucking 3 menu input selection. Who fucking designed a monitor like this? Whatever. So anyway, back to flying. Back to flying. What does he mean, a real plane? This is a real plane. So over the top, we started to unload the stick. So as soon as we start unloading the stick, the aircraft is, its weight is starting to decrease, right? All of the loads on the aircraft are starting to decrease. Here, I've still got a boot full of fucking right rudder in. I'm just like, yeah, right rudder, make you my bitch. And you'll see that does not work out very well for our flight here. So it's about now that you can see all this right rudder has completely skewed the aircraft. In fact, where our nose is meant to be heading is... I can draw. Where our nose is meant to be heading is here. Where our nose is actually heading is over here. That's not very good for a loop, because right at this point here, we are at our lowest airspeed. Right now, if we could see the airspeed indicator, we're probably somewhere around 60 to 80 mile an hour, somewhere around there. And we're probably at around 0.5 G, and we have a shitload of power on right now. So it gets pretty ugly from here. Can I actually show this at half speed? Because that would be really helpful. Playback. I think there's a way of playing this in half speed, but I'm not going to fuck with this. Video track zoom. Inlay. Okay, I give up. Now what we'll do is you will just see... Is it down here? No. Okay, whatever. The nose keeps traversing to the right because now we are at our lowest airspeed, but we're also at our lowest weight. So the aircraft's unloaded right now, right? We're coming over the top of the loop, about to start falling back down, and me just got a fucking boot full of right rudder in. Not a care in the world, just full right rudder, and that is not conducive to a good loop. And from here, it just starts getting really, really fucking ugly. Let's go. So there we go. The aircraft, the nose now starts falling across to the right. So we can see our now the next position. The nose has traversed more to the right. We're on the way down of the loop, and we'll just watch it play out here. The aircraft's almost stalled here. So see how the wings are sort of starting to come back around? Because now what's happened, the aircraft started to load back up, right? So we've come through the nearly 0G. We're starting to load back up on the way down. And it's still got a boot full of fucking rudder in. And we're trying to start adding some load. Like, look where the nose of the aircraft is here. Look where it is. That's fucking bad. Like, really bad. Where it needed to be, like I said, where it needed to be was over here somewhere. So we're a long way off. We're a long way off, but we don't get into a spin or anything like that. We just sort of talk through these positions, and from there, we recover with aileron as we pick up speed and bring the aircraft back, and you can see how far off we are. You see, this is me turning back on track. It's like fucking 40 degrees. That's pretty poor. Let's watch it. Let's watch it full speed. So I'll just shut up and you'll see it. So we come down the hill, going to 140 mile an hour, pull, wings level, check wings level, and then we add 3.5 G pull. There's wings level. Here comes a 3.5 G pull. So we just keep pulling. I'm starting to feed in rudder, and I just leave rudder in, and over we come, over the top of the loop. Still got a shitload of rudder. See where we're meant to be exiting. Nowhere near it. Over we come. Pretty ugly. That is not what a loop is meant to look like. That is what a hacks version of a loop should look like. But don't worry, don't despair. We do actually get a half-decent loop in, because we learn from our mistakes, and we try and correct them. That is the point. Simply apples, I was not instructed, I was being instructed. This was my first flight. This was my first flight in this aircraft, so an instructor took me up, taught me a few things about the handling of the aircraft, and we did some fun shit in it. So yeah, no, I was the learnee in this case, or the learner, not the learnee. Just making up words. There we go, doing standard pilot stuff with hand movements and stuff like that. Even in aeroplanes, pilots don't stop showing fighter pilot movements with their hands. I believe it's a rite of passage. Also, yes. So whenever you're walking around aircraft, always make sure you're showing some kind of fighter tactic with your hands. Very appropriate. Here we go. We're going for a second loop here, trying not to be as much of a noob. Down the hill, just about to hit 140 mile an hour. There it is. Check level. Here comes the 3.5 G pull. Watching the wing. Over the top. That is what a loop should look like. Still a little bit too much rudder down the bottom end there. We keep pulling in. Pull that 3.5 G. Nose level. Lost 150 feet. What up, baller? No problems whatsoever. Well, it still wasn't perfect. There's still a bit of rudder there. But compare that to the first one where we come over the top and do some kind of fucking weird shit there. Really weird. You grow up out of it. Simply apples? No, you don't. The whole time, there we go, some more hand movements there. Yep, Miss Co-Pilot's grown out of it because she just drives a bus now. So, I mean, some of us actually fly. Other people just program buses. But, I mean, hey, we can't all be awesome. But that's okay. And then I say, hey, well, I wasn't happy with those. I wasn't happy with those. So I said, I want to learn some rudder skills here. So I start doing some wing overs. And the idea with wing overs is you're going through speed and G transitions through the 3.5 G. How does the rolls we were doing today were not 1G the whole way through. They should be 1G. The ones we were doing in an aerobatic aircraft, they were actually going down to 0 or about 0.5. Oh, some of us actually get paid to do it. Oh! You want to fight? They're fighting words. Russell Crowe fighting around the world. Everyone that likes South Park. No, yeah, so the real loops, like I was saying, the real lobs, like I was saying, I kind of didn't talk about it, but the real lobbed rolls, which what they teach you in Warbird / Old Aircraft is you just keep them at 1G the whole way through, right? Right, the classic 707 roll. In an aerobatic aircraft, they don't need to be, and in fact, it's a good the reason you unload the aircraft during the rolls is so you reduce the risk of stalling any of the controls during the roll. Have a good night, Miss Co-Pilot. Thanks for dropping by. I really did have fun. Thank you. Thanks for dropping by. I really appreciate it. Have a good night. The trolls were good. I'm in. Some of us get paid. Woot! Just need the crowd, the renter crowd behind you to be like, what? She said what? So yeah, we go through some general handling here. Again, what I was saying is with the wing overs here. I'll go back and Ilias, I'll go back and I'll show you those rolls. I'll show you those rolls and I'll talk. Maybe even I can show the stick deflection on the joystick here. What we're actually doing through those rolls and why. So that was nice. Oh, coordinated the whole way through. No big deal. Oh, we do some really cool stuff. So after I do this and I get a feel for the rudder, we start doing, I don't know, he called them his own thing. Really what they are is wing overs, but they're where you're actually going almost to 0G, where it's a 60-degree nose-up pitch. Wait for the aircraft. They're kind of like a poor man's hammerhead. So instead of going all the way to the vertical and kicking the aircraft over the top, you'll go to 60 degrees nose up as the airspeed bleeds off, kick the aircraft over with rudder and come back down. So after I do these the wing overs here for a while, he goes over, he demonstrates one, and then we do some more. And they're a lot of fun. They're a lot of fun, and they're a good coordination thing. Just like the square in the sky, they're a good coordination thing between rudder and stick deflection. But why I'm talking about why I like doing the wing overs is they give you a good feel of the aircraft through its speed range. So at the bottom, let's say we're starting at the bottom of the wing over. The airspeed's high, so the control loads are heavy. The control deflections are small to get quite a large effect on the aircraft, right, or an output on the aircraft. Let me just pause it here because I think he's just about to start demonstrating those verticals. And so with a wing over, you'll start high speed, small control deflections, big output, and high control loadings. Then when you start pitching up, the speed starts decreasing, so you need to start adding a little bit more rudder to account for torque. And as you get to the top, as you're adding roll, you're also adding rudder to keep the aircraft coordinated. And at the top, you should be getting to about 0.5 G. And then you kick the aircraft, well, you don't necessarily kick it over. You just complete the turn with roll with the aircraft. This is a realistic looking sim. Yeah, so through the whole speed range of the aircraft, in one maneuver, in one or two maneuvers, you can get a feel for the aircraft through its entire speed range. So I really, really like doing those. I've done them in everything from little light sport aircraft up to T20, like big T28 type thing. They're very, very good at giving you an idea of the aircraft. So that's why after doing the loop and fucking it up and then doing one loop where it was kind of cool, then I really wanted to get a bit more of a feel for the aircraft. And I really should have done that right at the start. After doing the 260-degree turns, really should have started doing some wing overs to get a feel before I moved into these other things. But anyway, let's continue. So we see here below us, there's a set of power lines there. So I believe the instructor now has control and he's going to demonstrate these verticals and stuff like that. Here we go. So we go 60-degree nose up. And then we kick the aircraft over with rudder. So you can see we're kind of almost pivoting on the spot. We're pointing down at the ground at 60 degrees. Add again about 3.5 G. It's just like the bottom of a loop. So we add 3.5 G, pull over the top. Again, add pitch, add roll, and then add a bucket load of rudder to get the aircraft over the top, bring the nose down, and I believe it's from here I take over. So we said, there you go, you've seen it. You've seen it, you have control, and so my turn. There it is, 60 degree nose up. You can see I didn't quite get to 60 degrees. That's like 45. A little bit poor on the first one. But that's okay. We bring the nose through the horizon by adding a whole heap of left rudder. Actually pitch up far enough this time. Yeah, I actually looked at the wing. I actually looked where we were meant to be looking for a change and actually made the maneuver look good. Watch the nose, see it traversing through the horizon, cutting the line down along the power lines there. Yeah, just not quite getting the nose up aggressively enough. But, hey, we learn, we can watch the video, have a talk about it, and see what we learnt. We didn't quite cut that perpendicular, but hey, pretty close. Yeah, Bob Hoover, the things that guy didn't know about aviation, I don't know. Just a fucking rock star. Papa Berry, 2013, good evening, or welcome aboard. So those maneuvers are a lot of fun. I would like to learn them a little bit more, make them more aggressive. Make them more aggressive to be that sort of... we definitely didn't get the nose up high enough there. We could have been more aggressive with all of the control inputs. Yeah. No problem with Papa Berry. How was your day? Hope you had a fantastic day. So now I believe the instructor demonstrates a hammerhead. Now he asked if I wanted to do a hammerhead, and it was the one thing I was just about done with. So here we are, probably just about at the end of the flight, I think. I don't know if this is the hammerhead or not. We'll find out. Because after this, I said, I'm out of stick of rudder skills right now. I think I've learnt enough. Yeah, this is the hammerhead. Over around to the left. That was a hammerhead. We'll go ahead and watch that again. Real life hammerhead. So yeah, he gave me the option to fly that as well. That was the one maneuver that he demonstrated that I didn't fly. It was at the end of the flight. I was just about mentally capped out, and it was a very complex maneuver, right? There's a lot of things going on there with rudder pedals, a lot of things going on with stick and ailerons, and there's a lot of things going with where your head's looking. And at this point here, I've been spun around enough that I knew I probably wouldn't be able to perform well enough. So I said, no thank you, I would like to go back home. I wasn't feeling sick or nauseous or anything like that. Just at the point where, you know, I've learned enough for one day. Trying to learn that extra one thing just would have pushed me a little bit over the edge. But hammerheads well, eh? Little 180 horsepower aircraft, it hammerheads pretty well. And it's got more than enough. It's not even the horsepower it needs. It doesn't go into stay in the vertical very long, right? It's about maybe 3 seconds. But yeah, I was done at that point. You can maybe even hear in the background we're just having a chat there. It really is a shame the audio didn't come through. But in any case, I'd learnt enough for 1 hour of flying. So I went ahead and said, no, thank you. I'm okay with what we've done so far. Let's head back to Ottawa. And it's kind of cool because for the flight back, hopefully the sun doesn't blow it all out, but you'll be able to see Ottawa off in the distance. It's just beautiful. I get to land the thing. It wasn't the nicest landing in the world. We get a few bounces, but it wasn't anything like we, you know, fucking took off into the sunset again. But we just landed a little bit faster. The aircraft wanted to keep flying, but we didn't do anything stupid. We just kept the stick where it needed to be, and I don't know if we'll see the bounces. Maybe we will. Hey, the American Flyer, what's going on? And there's Gatineau Airport. just off to my left there. So we descend down through Gatineau Airport's airspace, and it's really, I should show you an image of Rockcliffe. It's really fucking funny because there's a tiny little sliver of land to get in and out of Rockcliffe where you don't need to talk to someone. But because this tower's controlled and Ottawa Airport CTA is right over the top, it's really, really a funny airport in the fact that it's uncontrolled and it's in uncontrolled airspace, but there's fucking controlled airspace all the way around it. All the way around it down to ground level everywhere. It's pretty crazy. Teddy TS89, this is a Super Decathlon. Oh, there we go. Mojo Zojo got it. It does need a bit. Yeah, I would say it's probably 80% there. It needs a little bit of work. I think the rudder probably wasn't that right, but you know. Yeah. So again, this is the French side. This is the Gatineau side of the river there, and that little patch just ahead of us is the airfield. That little tiny little patch ahead of us there, that is where the airfield is, and that's what I'm pointing towards. The other interesting thing with the aircraft is it doesn't have flaps, so it's actually quite surprising how quick its decel rate was. Its decel rate was really quite quick, even without flaps, so it's still quite draggy, but yeah. Frame rate optimization needs work. I don't know what that means. No problem, Pedro. It was really, really fun. It really, really was fun. And there we go. There's, is that the poo factory? No. So what you're looking at there is the Ottawa River, and if you look just off to the right here, that is Gatineau City, and what you see directly ahead of you there is Ottawa City. Very, very, very pretty little city. I really like Ottawa. It's just so beautiful. Now, it's not like this in winter, but yeah, the Super Decathlons, they're pretty cool. Yeah, I just got a GoPro on my head here, yep. So we're overhead the field now, so we're going to be joining dead side. We're over airfield height. There's Ottawa just off to our left. There's traffic just calling up that they're sort of long downwind. Actually, no, we hear this through the turn. So we start the turn here, we're on the dead side, and we're going to be joining a downwind for runway 09. So there we can see runway 27. And we're going to make our turnaround and descend at the same time down to 1,200 feet. And we do hear traffic here. I see the traffic, the instructor doesn't for the first bit, so we kind of cut the guy off. But he's in a shitty little Cessna 150, so we're faster. There we go, I'm pointing him out. And if I pause right here, I'll circle him. That's the guy right there. That little guy, I think that's him there. Yeah, where's Gatineau, or is that him? I can't tell what's a bug and what's not, but what's a bug? But I'm pretty sure that was him there. So I spotted him. He was on downwind already. Now, if he was in any faster an aircraft, we probably would have had to slot in behind him. But we're like, fuck it, let's cut him off. Shitty little aeroplane. Learn to fly a real plane, noob. Yep, still pointing at shit, trying to say there's an aeroplane there. There he is. Oh, that doesn't help. So I hear over the radio, he says he has his visual, so I just turn my side onto him so he gets a good look at me. See how cool I look. Not many places to land here if you lost an engine, though, eh? There's a couple of spots over there on that right-hand side, but really not that many spots to plop the aircraft down, and I wouldn't like my chances landing in there. But yeah, if we lost an engine here, we'd be going over into this golf course over there for you, Mr. John Fly, if you're around. It looks pretty boring. It's just like lanes, but Not many places here to land if you lost an engine. You could probably fit on that parkway down there. I mean, you'd break the aircraft, but you'd probably walk away. Or you could land in some rich cunt's backyard. All of this over here are all embassies. So this is why there's a noise abatement procedure here. There's Ottawa, right? It's the nation's capital. All in this area here is all of the embassies. So the Prime Minister lives in here. There's all of the embassy houses for all of the other plebs, all the other politicians all in there. So of course it needs to be quiet for them. We couldn't disturb their peace. So the actual circuit procedure here is kind of like a rhombus, or I guess where when you take off, you get to 200 feet, you make a right-hand turn over the water. So they don't want you crashing in their backyard. They'd rather you kill yourself in the water. So even though there's a perfectly good bit of grass there to land in, yes, you have to go and land in the water. And this is my first landing in the aircraft. First landing hype, like Harrison Ford did, yeah. So first landing hype, there we go, runway 09. Notice the non-standard blow-through center line. Also very, very, very... So yeah, notice the non-standard X-plane 10 blow-through centerline, which I do every fucking time. This turn works out perfectly on centerline. I'll turn the sound up here so you can hear the bouncy bounce. Right on centerline, straddling the runway line, as we can see here. We're trying to maintain about 85. Actually, I think it was telling me to be down at 75. So it carried about an extra 10 mile an hour speed, which is why we bounced. Rich plebs. So we bounced because we're a little bit fast. I added a little bit of power here on final. The actual throttle was really quite hard to deal with. It wasn't very ergonomic. But we pull it into a 3-point attitude here. Power's all the way back at idle. Let the aircraft decel. There's a bouncy bounce. Bouncy bounce. And we keep the aircraft. I wouldn't say tracking down centerline of the runway. We kind of weaved our way down the centerline of the runway. There we go.
A lot of instruction, as you can imagine.
Yes. And we got out of the way of that shitty Cessna 150 at the end of the day. Let us watch it again, just for some sweet baller action. So, yeah, I was on the controls through pretty much all of this. Not bad, eh? So, not bad. Nothing like a bit of real-world landing to get you in the tingly bits. Except for the bounce here. See, it wasn't the world's biggest bounce, just a... Chuck said, thank you very much for the host, my friend. Oh, also not getting any fucking Twitch alerts. I'm not getting any Twitch alert notifications, so that's a problem. That is a problem. And we just do some sweet taxiing, and so this is the club there. That's a little club, just a couple of shipping containers stacked beside each other, eh? Yeah, Mojo Zojo just had one job, and just failed miserably. Landed, and she was like, "What? You back?" How cool is this? You even get marshaled in. They got a pretty cool little flying club here. They really are cool. I think I was talking to Evil Nando about it. Look at this, getting marshaled in like I'm a fucking 757 or some shit. not a bad little flight. I had so much fun, as you might have been able to tell. Just so we don't have to see the awkward turning off, thing. Okay, so there you go. What do you guys think? There you go. I think what I'd like to do, I also have some other hype news. I have some other hype news. And also Patreons. I said this at the start, but a few people have tuned in now. There is a new video over on Patreon. There's a new video over on Patreon. So, yeah. Now, what I'll talk about just briefly is those roles. Those roles. Why don't we just talk about those just really briefly? Let's just go ahead and skip back to those. I believe they would be in this video here. I can hear myself talking in the background going, and pitch up, and there we go, full stick to flight. I can hear, oh, wow, yep. I even talk to myself in a real aeroplane, so I practice what I preach. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about these roles, and these are the more aerobatic roles. What I'll do is I'll just tilt this camera here, and I can't see a direct output of this camera, so let me move my cake bowl here. And, sorry there, cake bowl. Let's talk about the stick deflection, why it's a little bit different, and why I prefer. It depends on what aircraft, what you're trying to achieve. There's so many different versions of aerobatics that you can do. This is the more aerobatic-y, competition style way of doing a roll. It looks better from the ground, I guess. But I'll try and show you with the stick here what the deflections were while we were doing this maneuver, and then I'll show you the difference. And maybe we'll actually fly some fucking airplanes for a change and see how the new setup handles it, which will be exciting. Because I'm interested to see if there's any frame drops or anything like that when we start pushing some more detail through the sim. So yeah, okay, let's go ahead and see if we can tilt this down here just a little bit. I think that's literally just looking at me. So I need to get a better. This needs to be done a better way. Because this is just really fucking stupid that I have to go through all these menus. But I'm not going to be able to see Twitch chat for a while, guys. I'm just going to keep it on this thing. No, you can see the sticks. Or oh, fuck. Audio. Alright, now I'm not going to hear myself. Okay, where can I move this cam to? That looks perfect. So here we go. We have the stick. I might even point it directly at you. No, we'll push it to the side so you can actually see the deflections, yeah? So we'll talk our way through this roll, why it's a little bit different. So a typical roll that I would do, you can't really see my facey face. So a typical roll, how I would regularly do it is the aircraft, you would come down the hill, and then you'd add pressure. You wouldn't check central. So what he does here is we'll come down the hill, we'll hit 130 mile an hour, we'll level out. Once we level out, we'll check wings level. So it's an actual stick change. So we're holding a little bit of forward pressure on the stick here to come down the hill. And then we release that pressure. We bring the nose to the horizon. But we don't do it in this slow, simple movement. We do it in quick, jerky motions. So from here, we'll go to check center. And then from there, then we start the pull. So it's not a gradual loading of the aircraft. It's an almost instant. The correct term is a transient change in G almost instantly. So from here, from a stick neutral position, we add G instantly, bring the nose up to 20 degrees nose up pitch, then we unload, and we don't unload by gradually moving the stick forward, we unload by shifting the stick forward as quick as we can to unload the aircraft as quick as possible. And then, this is how he does it, then full stick deflection to the left with a tiny little bit of forward stick. And what this does is as the aircraft starts to roll over like this, is we're actually just a tiny little bit unloading the aircraft, and so the wings aren't doing as much work. The ailerons aren't doing as much work. The elevator, everything is not doing as much work because the aircraft is at a lower weight. Got to go grab someone from the airport. All right, see you when you go back there, Mr. American Flyer. So let's go over that entire roll maneuver here, the aerobatic way, and then I'll show you with the stick, and then we'll jump in an aircraft and we'll fly it and show you how I was taught with older style aircraft. Is an older style aircraft, you don't want any instant transient G. It can actually break the fucking aeroplane. So you want to slowly load the aircraft up, slowly unload the aircraft. Everything happens a little bit more slowly, but in competition style aerobatics, everything happens with very quick stick movements and very quick and precise stick movements. So your stick position goes from here to here very quickly, and from here to here very quickly, from here to there, and to there. Like your stick positions are very. Killex Jazen, thank you very much for the follow. I'm sorry I've missed so many follows. It looks like Dome. I can't remember if Dome was there before. They weren't. And Air Mac, thank you very much for the follow. I don't have Twitch alerts running right now. It doesn't seem to be working. Oh well. So let's run through the entire maneuver. Then I'll show it with the video, trying to show you the stick positions with the stick. And then I'll show you how I would do it in a aircraft over in DCS. Just because I think those aircraft are the best to show it in, not X-Plane. Also, we might play a little bit of DCS tonight. McBlackhawk242, thank you very much for the follow. So, yeah. Let's go ahead and talk about it. Let's show it. So here we go. We're coming down the hill. So we've got a little bit of stick pressure forward. So let's go ahead and hold that stick pressure forward. Just keep a good close eye on the stick here. We've got to 130 mile an hour. We unload the stick. Nose is level, wings are level, check centered. Then we go ahead and we add stick pressure up. We get to 20 degrees nose up pitch. We unload the stick, unloaded. Now we go ahead and we throw full stick deflection to the left with just a tiny little bit of forward stick. And this keeps the roll a little bit, it really technically keeps it at about 0.5 of a G the whole way through. Then, as the aircraft comes through the roll, we add load, so we still keep the deflection in. Then, as we start coming through the 90-degree point, we'll go ahead and we'll unload the aircraft. We'll load the aircraft back up. So we'll start reducing that forward stick, still keep the stick pressure in, and then when we want the wings to stop rolling, we go ahead and center the stick with just a little bit of right aileron. So let's run through it. So, nose down, 130 mile an hour. 130 mile an hour, stick center, check wings, stick aft, 20-degree nose up pitch, unload, stick full left, little bit of forward stick, let the aircraft come through 90 degrees, bring the stick back a tiny little bit as we start loading the aircraft up. There we go, wings are level, and we snap the stick back to neutral. Let's go ahead and watch it. Here's 130 mile an hour. There we go, check center, nose up to 20 degrees. Here comes the full right stick with just a little bit of forward stick. That was a really ugly one, but that's okay. We get the idea. So the next one, we'll go ahead and do it with the stick here and see if we can't try and match things up and show you what the stick deflection's right. I think this next one's around to the right as well. So we're back up to 4,000 feet, back at our set altitude. Looks like we're getting ready to go. There we go. So we're holding a little bit of nose down stick here. There we go. Speed's coming up to 130. Reduce that nose back. There we go. Nose is level. Adding aft stick. There's 30 degrees. Unload full right stick with a little bit of forward stick. There we go. And then we snap the control back to neutral. Pretty simple, right? That is the aerobatic style. The way I like doing it is, we should go to DCS. Why don't we go to DCS? I think we should.